guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be looking at a fancy engine. Well, I mean, they're all fancy, but you know, this is a kind of fancy one. So, let's see here. So here we're looking at a B&O EM-1. Now, I did 7601 because I didn't realize this is a 7600. Just for the decoder, not for the paint job. This is unpainted. This is a yellow box key locomotive. So, with Sam Honks, the person who made this, basically, it's a better engine if it has this kind of foam. So, this just really means it was made after the year 1983, around then. So, these are a little bit better. I don't know, just because they're higher quality. Because after that point, they got more expensive. Because if you look at the earlier West Sides, they have that kind of red foam that kind of dyes stuff. So, you don't want that. But, here is a kind of this little information pamphlet about what this was used for. And it kind of just tells you about, you know, all the little stats and figures. It's kind of a nice little thing. And, this was bought in the Caboose in Connecticut. And, yeah. I know this was basically brand new. The only thing that was, it wasn't factory wrapped, but basically brand new, which is good enough for me. So, with key engines, you actually get a lot. Look at all, you can see all the spare parts you get. 3 little baggies. And there is a hex driver for the valve gear, but that, I think, is somewhere buried in here. So I guess without further ado, we'll start with the tender. So I did not, this is not the first time I'm unboxing it, just because I think unboxing it gives a nice little experience. So you can see it's a very basic tender because it's all welded, but you know, it's a nice tender. And you know, it's got those kind of cool tender trucks that are the split frame, so they're kind of more realistic. And right now, I only have a 5-pin connector just because they're cheap and easy. Also, I'm not doing any kind of extra lights with this as of the moment. This has a TCS Wow Sound V4.1. I used to not like TCS, but I do now, just because I had an earlier version that I think might be broken in one of an earlier engine I had. But I have not had a problem. Very good low-speed control, and the whistles sound amazing, as you'll see in the running videos. So, here's the tender. And, I put Tang Band speakers in here. They're about $13 to $15, and they sound amazing. Really great bass. So, well, yeah. And this did have the couplers installed. That's the only reason that it wasn't, you know, basically brand new. And it wasn't factory wrapped, but I'm not a picky person in that kind of regard. But here is the big boy, or the big girl. So, you can see the wiring. Actually, you may not be able to. Let me zoom in a little bit. I zoomed out because this box is just so massive. You can kind of... why is it? Okay. You can see that I have the light wires running. That's just temporary. I just have a bulb in there. So that'll... right now it's kind of being kind of annoying right now. So I'll have to work on that. But this has a high-low gearbox, which basically means in the rear it's a idler gearbox and in the front is a non-idler gearbox. So they started doing this around 1985 for articulateds. Sam Honks did. Overland stuck with the basically 3 gearboxes. You have one in the front that's a non-idler, one in the front, and one in the rear, and you have a drop box that just goes in either way. It's a little noisier, but it's also, it just really depends. They all run well, but this one runs really well. The high-low gearbox does really make a difference, and you can see this has sound cams and everything. It's got a giant motor. If you can see, the motor is about, you know, the length 2.5 to 3 inches, and this thing pulls. I pulled a 44 car train with this with no problem. But, this is just a beautiful engine. I did drill out the head. If you can see, I did drill out the marker lights because I will be putting marker lights in this. But this is just a beautiful engine, and I hope you guys enjoyed a little information, and then I'll show you guys how this thing runs. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. During World War II, the increased traffic levels and the lack of ability to get new or diesels led the B&O to order 20 Yellowstone 2884s from Baldwin. The B&O was an early pioneer of articulated locomotives and used all the experience and research to make the B&O EM-1s the best they could possibly be. Built in 1944, numbers 7600 and 7619 were built to the absolute limit that the B&O road could handle. With roller bearing rods, cast steel frame, and integral cylinders, and box drivers with a newer design, a rectangular tender that could hold 25 tons of coal and 22,000 gallons of water. They were placed into service on the Cumberland Division's calling Hull and Merchandise between Brunswick and Grafton, West Virginia. The EM-1s were so successful that they were able to eliminate helpers on many of the trains they pulled. 10 more EM-1s were built 7620 through 7629 were ordered almost immediately and placed in service in mid-1945. For the most part, they were similar to the engines built earlier, but some changes were noticeable, including a revised ancillary system and overfire air jets. They were used in all sorts of service after it was found out that they could really move. The big articulateds were even seen pulling express trains when heavy loads overwhelmed the 462s and the 482s. These engines lasted until 1960 when the last one was scrapped.